harshly critical of a group in this ummah that they labeled the Madkhali, or maybe in reality they're the Haddadiyya, whatever the case might be, over a variety of issues. This might be related to rebelling against the ruler, criticizing the ruler. They call to abandon the mashayikh of this group. They say that the spread has gone so far that it's infected a lot of the people who are ascribing themselves to following the path of the Salaf. So to keep it general, keep it simple, what is the unfiltered truth regarding this and what is batil?
All right. So the first thing is, I'm not big on titles. Like if somebody says this group is this group or this group is called this group, like what does that really mean, right? Like Shaykh Rabi al-Madkhali, for example, is a scholar of this ummah, right? Shaykh Muhammad ibn Hadi al-Madkhali is also another scholar of this ummah. Shaykh ibn Jibreen is a scholar of this ummah. These are scholars, right? Now, every scholar, his statement should be accepted and rejected in the mizan of the Quran and the Sunnah, right? So when you talk about rebelling against the rulers or not rebelling against the rulers, if you talk about protesting or not protesting, if you talk about this or that, everything should be tied to the kitab and the Sunnah and the understanding, the fahm of the Salaf al-Ummah, the best generations, right? For example, today, if we were to talk about the greatest fuqaha ever to exist, right? In fiqh, no doubt Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad, these were the greatest fuqaha. Ibn Abdul Barr and others have written about this. Ibn Abdul Hadi has written a whole risala on this, right? But even them, their own students at times would disagree with them. Qadi Abu Yusuf, Imam Muhammad Shaybani disagreed. Look at Al-Hidayah, right? If you look at Imam Malik, some of his own students would not take some of the views he took. Imam Shafi'i studied with Imam Malik, right? Imam Ahmad studied with the Shafi'i. But they disagreed on issues. But they didn't go and say, this is this group and that is this group and this is a cancer. This is wrong, right? If you want to, and this is my nasiha generally, but specifically about this situation. If you want to know the truth, look at the kitab. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala order us? Like, look at how did the Prophet ﷺ deal in those situations. Look at the Salaf al-Salihin and how they were patient in situations and how they were active in other situations. And you will get the clarity of what you need to see. Otherwise, it's just you, me, them, this, that, and these labels throwing back and forth is not going to help anything, right? Today, a lot of people, because of social media, just because they have a platform, think that they're going to give fatwas on everything, right? And they may be sitting comfortably in some kafir country, but then they're telling the Muslims in some other country to do something. Well, why don't you go? Bro, get a ticket, go there, call them up and say something, but you're not, right? So you see the hypocrisy there, right? And more bloodshed in the ummah is not going to benefit anything, right? This is the stupidity of some people, that they think that more bloodshed is the answer, right? And I mean, look at the Sahaba, they were patient through some very harsh times, right? Look at the Salaf al-Salihin. Imam Ahmad, he dealt with the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila are not a group where there is some khilaf, whether they were on the haqq or batil. Everybody agrees they were on batil. And they brought an aqidah that was kufr, right? About the khalq al-Quran. But Imam Ahmad, even though he was in prison, he was patient. Why? He had the right there. Why? Because he was wise enough to say, look, if I start bloodshed in the ummah today, it will harm the ummah more than benefit. And his patience led to that aqidah that he stood on becoming victorious. Today, I don't know if anybody here that would say the Quran is makhlooq. Right? Anybody here take that? No. It's kalamullah, ghair makhlooq. Right? And this is the aqidah of all the four a'imma, and this is the aqidah of the Salaf and the Sahaba and so on. Right? But at one time, that was going to be the prevalent aqidah in the ummah. And one man stood. And his student said, look, give us the word. We'll rebel. He said, no. Intelligence, right? So stick to that, inshallah. May Allah protect us all.
Allow me to add a symbol. these individuals that you, and I'm like Shaykh Uthman, I don't like labels, but when you have a list of scholars, you're only allowed to take knowledge from, and those are the approved ones. So you're saying that they are infallible. You know what that means, right? When Imam Malik, let's begin with the oldest of them, the senior, he said, كل يؤخذ منه ويرد إلا صاحب هذا القبر. You can take and leave from anybody. You can tell yes, no to anybody except the one who is buried in that, in reference to his sunnah. يعني. طيب الإمام أبي حنيفة إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهبي. الإمام أبي حنيفة رحمه الله, الإمام مالك رحمه الله, he said if the hadith is authentic then it overrides my madhab. So he's not saying only me. طيب who's next? الإمام الشافعي, he said if I said something and you found out that the Prophet ﷺ said something contrary to this, throw what I said out of the window. فَارْمِوا بِقَوْلِي عَرْضَ الْحَائِطِ. الإمام أحمد لا تأخذ مني ولا من الليث ولا من الأوزاعي. Don't take from me, from الليث ibn Sa'd or الأوزاعي, but take from the source we all took from, the Quran and Sunnah. For now when you come and make a list of scholars, only those, everybody else is in misguidance, mubtada', is that, where do you get that from? That's a devious. Everybody is assessed based on what he says. Do you validate what you say with Quran and Sunnah and Aqwal al-Salaf or not? If you don't, yeah, we'll leave it at that, inshallah.